Hi, family. My name is Joycelyn Wells, and I wrote a book. I've been all over Facebook and Instagram trying to get everyone to buy my book because, of course, I think it's the greatest thing ever. So, the book is The Virtues of Joy. It's a compilation of short stories, and each story is associated with a virtue. In honor of Hurricane Irma, I decided to make the book available for free download on Amazon.com, and that ends on September 12th, which is Tuesday on 2017. So I'd like for you to go and download the book. That would be awesome. It'll definitely help me to get my numbers up and give you kind of a little access to what I see and what I think about people and situations. So let me give you a little background. Since I published the book in April, I've been doing a series of readings where it's me and a group of 10 to 12 people. It's mixed crowds, it's couples, it's women, it's men, just to kind of read a virtue, and then we'll do a question answer, get some comments, and then read another virtue, which is really very fun because it's allowing me to kind of see how I've grown and just to kind of watch my expression of self, and also to share with others what they feel about it and if they connect or not connect with what I'm sharing. So today I decided, since I'm in the house and I have not evacuated and I'm waiting for Irma to come and bless me with all of her brilliance and rain and wind and wonderful power, and how am I to receive it, I figured I would read a virtue and share it with you. So I'll put this on Facebook. It'll also be on my YouTube page, which is Shape, Self-Health, and Personal Empowerment. So the virtue that I'm reading today is called generosity. It's one of my favorites. I shared this at the reading. So if you've been at a reading, you've heard this before, but it's always fun to hear it again. So it's generosity, the quality of being kind, understanding, and not selfish. Here it goes. If you have any questions or comments, you can contact me on Facebook or through my website, aboutshape.com. I love comments and questions. It gives me a chance to interact and to see what people are thinking, and also to help me to grow as a writer, as a person. So thank you. Okay, generosity. I awoke amorous today. As I think about it, it was like most days, though for some reason it felt slightly different. I'm not talking about the feeling of sexual desire. Nah, that wasn't different. In fact, that's pretty common these days. It is referring to the warm, moist, silky area on that piece of flesh at the vaginal entrance. It's one of my favorite places to touch. It's like taking my pulse when I'm considering pleasuring myself. Gotta have one. Well, this morning I'm still lying in bed, contemplating to come or not to come. Not much of a dilemma, I guess, but it was my current most pressing issue. As I'm tossing this idea around, I'm using my index finger to transfer the silky feeling from my favorite place to my brain. It's usually during this time that a little alarm sounds to alert my nerves and blood cells that there's going to be a pretty explosive meeting at a nearby area. But not this morning. Every part of my body remains loyal, including my mind. It was relaxed, though my silky place remained loyal. Even in downtimes, it remains warm, moist, and yes, silky. I guess I'll have to be content with the pleasurable smell, taste, and feeling derived from my finger excursion. I willed myself to get up, so aloud I said, "All right, chickie, time to get up, rise and shine." As with any other morning, I have to have some music. Pandora, blinds open. What a beautiful day. Just like that, I'm ready to start the day. As I'm leaving the restroom, my phone rings. I already know who it is, one of my best girlfriends, Kendall. She works from home on most days. Her schedule is hella flexible, so we talk often and randomly throughout the day. I answered. After necessary hellos and health checks, Kendall tells me she's working on something. My curiosity is piqued, and I'm listening because we always have a great time. Kendall. So, I talked to Dude last night. He's talking about picking up some beer and a bushel of oysters. Note, Kendall refers to all guys as dude. It's funny because names don't mean anything to her. She's an energy person, so if she enjoys your presence, she'll probably start using a term of endearment like babe. Otherwise, it's dude until she picks up on an energy change or until they go away. Me. How much fun is that going to be? Raw oysters? Kendall. Nah, not raw. She goes on to talk about the various ways to process and cook oysters. I have her on speakerphone, so as she's talking, I'm going about my daily routine of getting dressed. I said something like, oh, I didn't know that. Kendall continued her thought. Me. Hilarious. That'll be great. Kendall, what time are you off? Can you come? There will be other people there. Me. Probably around 3. Girl, you know it'll take me a couple of hours to get to Atlanta. But yeah, I'd love to come. Now, I have a little more spring in my step. Plans. I love when plans are being made. Kendall, that's perfect because I'm going right after work. We may get there about the same time. Do you know if there are going to be any single men there? I'm horny as fuck. Kendall, I don't know, but I'm sure if you let someone single or married know that you're trying to hook up, they'll hook up. We laughed. Me, girl, that's the truth. Anyway, when you get there, scan the crowd, let me know what you see, and send me a text. Hell, I may need to turn around. Kendall laughed and said, I got you. We end our call with the be safe and see you later. And then I say, I love you. Now I'm dancing around my room. I love having planned something for which to look forward. I mean, you know it's going to be good, right? Especially since no one ever plans to have a bad time. My focus changed from getting dressed now to what I'll wear tonight. I laughed to myself. Damn, do I have any clothes in my suitcase to wear to an oyster boil or bake or kickback? I'll figure that out later. Let me get this work day over. Singing in my head, I've got plans tonight. By day's end, I've decided that I'm wearing black leggings, short-sleeved ocelot print knit shirt, and black ankle boots. My oyster shucker outfit. I hit the road right after work. I was completely turned up in my head singing, ATL, ho, ATL. What the fuck? This traffic. Ugh. ATL, ho. I send a text. Me. I'm clothes chick, stopping to change clothes and grab beer. Kendall, cool. Me. How we looking? Kendall, come on through. Yes, my girl, she has given the crowd a once-over. So hurriedly, I changed clothes, washed my face, reapplied my mascara, and glossed my lips. I look in the mirror. It's playtime, bitches. I throw myself a kiss and head out into the store. I walk directly to the beer cooler, scanning, looking for my favorite beer. Yes, I select a Stella for me and Bud Light for everyone else. I grab a 12-pack of each and head for the checkout counter. Ooh, chocolates. Let me grab a couple. I asked the clerk, how much for these? He replied nonchalantly, 59 cents. I smiled because I know he answers that same question at least 100 times a week. I said cool and grabbed 4. Paid for my purchase with my bag on my shoulders, chocolates in my purse, and a 12-pack in each hand. I left the store. It's playtime, bitches. Once in the car, I drove about 15 more minutes to Dude's place. I silently thanked my GPS for great directions. I found the apartment without a single hitch. I grabbed my purse, always a crossbody bag, one of my little quirks. I need to have my hands free. I retrieved the beer, a package in each hand, and headed for the door. I knocked with my knee. A guy opened the door. I quickly scanned the room from the outside, searching for Kendall. Bingo! There she is. I stepped in. Hey, everyone. And I looked at the door opener, smiled, and said, thank you. Kendall and Dude walked over. I raised the beer. He said, perfect. I love Bud Light. I laughed and thought, good. He took the beer from my hands. Kendall and I hugged. She introduced us. I don't remember his name because he was good looking. I don't remember his name, but he was good looking. I didn't have to remember because Kendall said, babe, this is Jay. Babe, Oh yeah, she's feeling him. After that intro, his name didn't even matter. I followed them into the kitchen. I'm walking, smiling, saying hi to the other guests, checking faces, seeing who's in this room for me. I'm guessing there are about 10 people or so, but I lost count at 7. There was no reason to count anyone else beyond number 7. I got his name later, but for now, let's call him 7. Lucky number 7. We saw each other. I heard Kendall say, "Jay, you want Stella or Tito's?" I kept looking at 7. I said, "Give me a second. I'm going to have some chocolate first." I guess she looked to see the 7 and I had each other's attention because she said, "Oh, okay. Well, I'm pouring you a shot of Tito's." I reached into my purse to pull out a chocolate square. I never took my eyes off 7. I opened the chocolate, held it up, and said to him, "Would you like to share this with me?" His smile was slight. He moved forward to fill the space between us. Well, when he was close enough, I took the chocolate square and inserted half of it into my mouth, my teeth holding it into place to allow his half to stick out. I noticed that he's not much taller than me, a couple of 3 inches maybe. His skin is the same complexion as this chocolate that's starting to melt against my tongue. It's warm and sweet. I wonder if he tastes the same. He's standing in front of me in my space. He feels good in it too. But he hasn't taken half of the chocolate. So of course I start thinking, is this too much? Should I break it and let him take his share? Well, I lifted my head to alter my view. It was then that he leaned in to get his chocolate. He was waiting for me to lift it to him as an offering. By now, the piece on my tongue was melting and thick, mixing with my saliva. 7 opened his mouth. Instinctively, my eyes closed. I felt his lips touch mine. My expectation was that he would bite his chocolate and step back. I mean, what would you expect of a stranger to whom I have offered to share a piece of chocolate out of my mouth? Well, he bit his piece, but he didn't move. Turns out he wanted my half too. He continued. He must really like chocolate. He licked the chocolate residue from between and on my teeth. I let him have it. He wanted more. So I opened wide and allowed him to get all he could from the depths of my mouth. Sorry. I didn't tell him that I had additional chocolate, more chocolate in my purse. I wanted him to continue to explore my mouth looking for more. Unprompted, I reached up to place my arms around his neck. He responded by enveloping me in his arms. Our chocolate mission has turned into passion. This kiss was the sweetest, softest form of an introduction. I became aware before he did. I heard Kendall's babe say, "Do they know each other?" She said, "I don't think so, but they will." I didn't move, but I lowered my eyes and attempted to change the position of my arms. 7 pulled me closer. He wanted my arms to stay. I put them back and looked into his face. We haven't said hi yet, and we still didn't. Hi wasn't enough of a greeting for this moment. My body is awake. I felt my nipples pressing at the t-shirt and thought, damn, I should have worn a bra. Reading my mind, he loosened his grip, freed one of his hands, then effortlessly slid it under my t-shirt and rubbed his thumb across my nipple. I inhaled deeply and my eyes rolled in response. I could feel his hardness pressing against my thigh. I felt like I couldn't get enough air. He started breathing with me, guiding me, calming me. I don't believe that either of us knew what was going on. Well, maybe I was at an advantage because this morning when I awoke, I knew that I needed something more than the pleasure of my own fingers to assist in the release in this pent-up energy. With that thought, correction. I do know what's going on. I'm placing myself on the altar for his taking. Let me show him. While looking in his eyes, I pressed my body into his. I repositioned my hand on his neck, holding it firmly. I part my lips and lean in to kiss him hard and hungrily. I had to show him that I wanted to give myself to him. He responded by removing my hand from his neck and forcefully pushing it along with my arm behind my back. He held it there and returned the hungry but harder kiss. He was showing me that he was in charge of this moment. Fuck it. That's cool with me. Take me. Just a second, I gotta refill my wine glass. So I'm drinking a Cabernet from Target. It's called California Roots. I know, I shouldn't do that with my teeth. My mother would be so upset with me. But it's a hurricane and I'm by myself. No discipline. Okay, ready? Keep in mind, we're in an apartment with several people. Music is playing, laughter and conversations, oysters are being shucked. Regular house party shit is happening all around us. Seven and I are oblivious to it all. Nothing exists but the time and space within us. He starts walking forward, still holding my arm behind my back. I hold on to him tighter with my free arm to keep from falling. So he's walking forward, that means I'm walking backwards and kissing at the same damn time. We stop. I feel something pressing against my calf. Is that a couch? It was a convertible air sofa bed. I don't know the correct name, but it seems like a piece of furniture acquired for a bachelor's first apartment. Seven turns us around. He sits on the sofa bed thing and pulls my arm for me to follow. I do. I lay on him. His legs are open. My legs are together between his. More kissing, more touching. My body is pressing against his. Oh, my Lord. Whew. Thank you for gravity, pressure, force, everything responsible for allowing me to feel this man underneath me. My legs wanted to open. I couldn't stop them. One at a time, they parted ways to straddle this man. I could feel his dick pressing against my pussy. I struggle with that word, ugh, but at this time, it's so apropos. I've straddled him, we're kissing. I'm grinding my pussy through my leggings into his jeans. I wanted this man to fuck me right now, but not right here in this open space of people. Well, because my body loves itself, it began working to release this orgasm. Slow, grinding, rocking, kissing with Seven, I could feel it faster. I moaned, I'm gonna come. Seven took his hands and held my hips in place. He stopped my explosion. Hell, I no longer care who was in the room. This mission was selfish, or so I thought. He kind of moved so that I would roll off of him, and I did. He moved to the floor on his knees in front of me. He reached up under my t-shirt, grabbed my leggings at the waist, and began to pull them down. I placed my heel boot firmly on the ground and raised my hips. So now I'm on the air thingy, legs at my knees, and my boots are still on. Seven raises my legs and enters under them. He's designed his own trap with my leggings holding him in place. I can feel his breath against the hot wetness. It should have been a cooling effect, but I was getting hotter and wetter. Seven must be a mind reader, because the first thing he did was spread my lips and lick my favorite place, that silky piece that lines the entrance. Just like that. I let out a moan that quieted the room. My body started convulsing and released its first orgasm. I was dazed. Seven didn't move. He didn't change his position of his body or his mouth. He continued to lick and play in that area. He was waiting for my juicy sweetness to flow to him. He wanted an instant replay. I didn't rush him. He has already shown me that he's in control of this moment. I just stayed in position and tried not to make eye contact with anyone. Whew. Kendall brought me a shot she was saving. She and I took a shot. She left me with a bottle of water. With that, a couple of other people came over to make things more comfortable for Seven while he was exploring his prize. Let's see. I remember in between moans, someone removed my boots. My leggings were removed, which freed Seven from his self-made trap. When that happened, he sat back on his haunches, unbuckled his belt, unbuttoned and unzipped his pants. He stood up on his knees, pulled his pants and boxers down. I sat up. I wanted to suck his dick. He didn't say anything, but he put his hands on my chest and pushed me back on the air sofa. He grabbed my hips and pulled me to the edge of the sofa. He took his hands and spread my legs at the knees. He looked blankly at my pussy. He took his fingers and spread my thighs, holding my lips and ass cheeks open. I don't know what he was thinking. I had placed myself on the altar for him. Now I was at his mercy. Finally, he moved his hands. He had made a decision, and he moved his body closer. He was so close that his pubic arch was touching my hips. My anticipation was growing. Breathe. He inched back until he made room between us for his dick. When he touched himself, I imagined it was my hand. How did it feel? How does it look? Is it hot? Is it heavy? I wanted to feel the blood filling him to course through my hand. 7 grabbed his dick. In response, I opened my legs wider. I was ready. He began to move forward. I was open. I could feel his heat before he entered me. I took a deep breath, preparing my mind and body for whatever power he was capable of delivering. Exhale. He's feeling my openness. I'm holding my breath. He's in. He stops. We're both lost in the pleasure, enjoying the throbbing that each of our bodies are emitting. The sensations became so entwined that our pulses were in harmony. The resounding effect was so loud. Slowly he moved his hands to my knees. He pushed them open. He wanted me wider. I obliged. He began to move my hips back and forth. He began to move his hips back and forth. He was wherever men go in their minds when caught in the rapture. I was completely engulfed in the waves of ecstasy that continued to wash over me. I could feel my hips moving desperately, trying to meet his thrust. My instincts took over. I was meeting him harder, faster, and deeper. I wanted everything he was giving. He was taking everything that I laid before him. My nerves and blood cells, my biggest cheerleaders, were screaming, "Yes, Joy, this is it. Give it to him. Yes, yes." Hell, how could I not comply? With my eyes closed and my mind black, my body was functioning on its own. I could feel my orgasm preparing to make its dramatic exit. I said it aloud, telling no one in particular, "I'm coming." 7 took that as his cue to assist more in this effort. By this time, his assistance was no longer needed. Through a series of electric shocks, my orgasm had arrived. I just laid there. It was not time to recover, so I didn't try. No words were needed. Every sound around us combined and resembled black noise. 7 slowed his stroke to a long, slow motion. He attempted to keep me alive. I moaned, signaling there was life still in me. He touched my neck gently at first. Then, as if losing himself, he grabbed my neck tighter. I couldn't tell if he were trying to choke me or hold on while he rode his own powerful wave. It seemed like he wasn't getting inside of me enough to satisfy his needs. He kept trying to go deeper. He was trying to go deeper. Maybe he wanted his whole body inside. I laid there and took it, too exhausted to counter his beast. Suddenly he pulled out and at the same time pulled me to a sitting position with the hand that held my neck. Immediately I realized what he was taking next. He wanted my mouth, the place from his earlier expedition. He was erect and covered in my sweetness. I leaned forward to start his ending process. I couldn't suck easy. He was ready to finish and I was focused on getting them there. I drew him into my mouth like a vacuum. I sucked feverishly. I stroked and sucked over and over. Now he was helpless. I was the taker. After a few minutes, I felt his body stiffen. He buried his hands in my hair, holding on. His body was tense and mouth was silent as he came. His cum was thick, delicious, salty, sweet, and filled the hollows of my mouth. When he realized that he was still holding my hair, he slowly released it and began straightening it like he was apologizing for his destruction. He lifted my head to meet his gaze. I lifted my eyes to him and swallowed. He smiled a gentle smile. I think that once he realized there were still people there, he tried to cover me. He didn't want them to see me unclothed. It's a fine time for that. I slipped on my leggings. We kept looking at each other, trying to figure out what the fuck just happened. Comments were made by the other guests like, is there any chocolate left? And are y'all sure y'all didn't know each other? After we were dressed, Seven said, I'd like to spend more time with you. Would you like to join me for a drink? I said yes. I'd love a drink. By the way, I'm Joy. He told me his name, but I forgot as soon as he said it. For the rest of the night, I called him Sweetness each time he answered. We finally joined the oyster shucking party. He and I had a great time. I was happy that Kendall invited me. As people started leaving, he and I figured out how to convert the air sofa into an air bed, and that's where we played all night. Me and Seven exploring each other's everything. When I awoke the following morning, quietly I was collecting my things. Kendall was still here. I saw her shoes. I'll text her later. Seven opened his eyes. He said, leave me your number. I smiled and replied, Sweetness, that's not necessary. Let's keep our time great. I placed the chocolate where I slept, blew him a kiss, and left. Okay, that's the end of the virtue of generosity. I hope that you enjoyed it. It's one of my favorites. It's one of my personal favorites. There's 9 other amazing virtues in the book, and I hope you have an opportunity to download it during the free download, and if not, you're able to get it after. If you're interested in having me to come and do a personal reading with you and your friends or your book club, you can find me at joycelynwells.com or aboutshape.com. All of that which is found on my Facebook page. So Facebook, Joycelyn Wells, more, and also The Virtues of Joy. Thank you.